What is going on, traders? Happy Monday. I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. But as usual, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know exactly how my trading went for me today. So let's jump right into today's recap. And as you guys can see from the screen, it was another big red day yet again on my account, right? So down over 500 on the day. In terms of how I did day trading wise, I only traded SQs and TQs, right? And I was down nearly 1% on SQs alone, right? So down 280. And then I did lose an additional $206 on top of that on TQQQ. So overall down, right, nearly $500 on the day. And this is on top of the big loss that me and my brother did have last week, right? We traded like crap last week. We traded like crap today. And so it's no surprise that because we have been doing this bad, we are going to actually be scaling down in terms of how much we are trading with, right? So it's obviously not fun at all, and it's not something that any trader wants to do ever, but we know it's in our best interest to scale down right now because we obviously haven't been resonating well with the market, right? We've been too impulsive, and so it just would make sense, right? If we're losing money with a big dollar amount, why not at least mitigate some of that loss, potential future loss, right? By trading with a smaller dollar amount until we feel like we're more consistent enough, right? And we've proven ourselves that we can scale back up, right? So it's not going to be, permanent. I just got to remember that it'll be temporary, and it'll give me, more motivation or incentive to actually want to, show up and trade every day so that I'm able to earn the ability to trade with more money, right? So that's pretty much what me and my brother decided we're going to do, right? So we may only be trading now with 15K or 10K, right? Rather than the 30K we have been using. We feel like it's more of a comfortable position size given, how bad we've been trading with. And so we don't want to, risk having any more huge losses. And so because of that, we're just going to cut down. But that's pretty much, a big takeaway point I did want to mention in today's recap. It's that, we're not really trying to be cocky or impress anyone. We're all on our own trading journey. And you got to do what's best for you at certain points, and you only will know what's best for you. And this is definitely something that we're, actually excited about. But as far as, how trading went today and how the market did, one positive takeaway that I can take away from today is the filled orders. As you guys can see, we took a lot less, and because my brother and I were both kind of trading today, right? We decided to take a lot less orders today than we normally do. And that's one thing that I actually was, happy about on the day. If you guys can see, we actually didn't take our first few trades until 15 minutes after the market opened, right? So we normally start buying in as soon as the market opens, but we wanted direction to be a bit more clear, right? And we actually avoided all this chop at market open, right? Where it started to sell off, then it picked up, then sold off, then picked up, right? We started to buy into SQs around here, and then it started to peak out, right? And then started to sell off. But, although we weren't able to actually profit on the day, I feel like that's definitely a good stepping point. We want to start minimizing, the amount of trades we take and the amount of time we're in the market, right? We want to take more quality trades and focus on, just a few select trades rather than the hundreds of trades that we take a day, right? So we're definitely going to be trying that out. But yeah, as you guys can see, it was pretty much all over the place today as far as how the market traded, right? On the bigger time frames, right? Like the past 180 days, you guys can see we have been experiencing a strong resistance right around this general area here, right? And so it makes sense why we were, potentially focusing on a NASDAQ drop, right? So that's why we decided to get into SQs when we saw this thing peak out, right? And it did start to sell off, but what actually ended up happening, it bounced, then sold off, right? We thought it was going to make a new low, only for it to actually bounce, right? And so these bounces and changes of direction where my brother and I struggled with, right? We really need to learn how to trade the lows, right? And sell at the more overextended highs, right? Somewhere where it's been rejected at pre-market, and it could make sense why it could act as a resistance, right? And so if we really just try to trade the lows, right? And buy at the lows, sell at the highs, looking back at it in hindsight, it's a lot easier to see. But, as the market's trading, you really don't know, where this thing's headed. Once we saw this thing peak out, right? I think we tried buying in around here. thinking it was going to get rejected, right? But trades don't always go according to plan. This thing ended up shooting up, pulling on back and making even new highs, right? So we were very unsure of whether or not this thing would actually sell off, but it ultimately did, right? And so, that's where we really put ourselves in a big hole. It was not really understanding where true direction was going to happen. And once this thing started to sell off as hard as it did here, we really thought there was going to be a big drop, as I mentioned, right? Because of the big resistance we have been seeing, right? Anytime we approach this resistance, we see a big drop, right? As you guys can see here, big drop, big correction back to the EMA, right? And so we did see a big rejection, right? But we thought we were going to continue to drop, and that was very hopeful of us. As you guys can see more on the bigger time frames, it made sense why this thing could fall and potentially try forming a new leg up, right? Like a new high, right? From this push up that it had, right? We had lots of buying pressure here, right? We ended up getting rejected, pulling on back, consolidated, started to form a new high here, right? And so that's where we really made a mistake. We really should have looked up at this potential, new leg up that it could have had, right? Try to form this new high here. But, that looking back in hindsight, but in the future, right, we're definitely going to be trying to be more aware of these types of instances where direction can change very quickly because we are at a critical point, right? And we just want to be trading smarter, right? Making sure that we're only taking quality trades. And so our goal is really, for my brother and I, it's really to try to take less trades and make them more quality trades, right, this week. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to discuss in today's recap. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. I'm sorry the results haven't been, very good, but I promise my brother and I will keep working at it and try, to better ourselves so that we can share that info with you guys. But thank you guys so much again for everything. I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you guys in tomorrow's recap. Take care.